VO2 Max is what's got me sweating like a dog right now, and I did this for the sake of this video because I want you to know that VO2 Max is the most incredible thing ever. It's literally a prophet. It's what will predict your life better than a lot of other risk factor predictors like smoking, diabetes, cholesterol, all of these things that you hear from the doctors, which I am one, and I talk about all of those things. But VO2 Max is slept on, and I think that it will be bigger in the future. Maybe because of this video, probably not, but somebody else will get it big. Anyways, let's talk about it. It is defined as the maximum volume of oxygen that your body can use during intense exercise, and it's so much more than that. It captures the performance of an entire integrated biological system in one number, and the best thing is, it is trainable. You hear that? Trainable. And that's why I am sweating like a dog. I guess dogs don't sweat, they pant. That's why I'm sweating like Tom Holland when he sees Zendaya. It's about 50% heritable and 50% trainable. So that means you have a lot of room to work right here. So let's get to training. And what happens whenever you train is a really cool thing that I think shows that your body is incredibly well designed. My 9-month-old is asleep in the adjacent room, and if he could put together a thought, he would say you should subscribe. So please, VO2, max out that subscribe button right now. Thank you. Let's think of this integrated biological system as 5 parts: heart, lungs, vasculature, muscles, mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell. I'm using a lot of hands right now. You're an athlete. And what happens whenever athletes start to push to their elite levels, first, the heart and the lungs start to become optimized. They start to adapt. Afterwards, your vasculature is so well adapted that the muscles are adapting very well because they're getting really good oxygen all the way to them. Eventually, it's the lungs that are the holdup. And why is that? The lungs do not remodel nearly as well as the heart, the vasculature, and your muscles. So the lungs are over here stuck in the 1980s. They say, I really like this wallpaper. Thank you very much. And then these guys over here are like, the lungs are so out of style. They don't want to remodel anymore. Pish posh. So first cool thing with the remodeling, the heart. What happens with the heart? A few things. One, you're able to pump more. The left ventricle has a larger area that it can, or a larger volume that it can pump out, pumping more out to the body. Then you can have a higher amount of blood volume itself so that you can have increased filling of that left ventricle that pumps all the blood out to the body. And that helps it get more blood out. Thus, you can have a higher cardiac output is what it's called. The calculation for that is heart rate times stroke volume. Now, whenever you see your crush, but you want to keep it incognito, you can tell your friends and family like, man, my cardiac output is increasing because your heart rate's going up. Get it? Yeah. Now let's talk about the vasculature. How does it adapt? You have your arteries that go into your capillaries and then it turns into veins and it goes all the way back to your heart, simplified version. The capillaries can increase in density like double the amount that they were prior. So the numbers I found when I was researching, you know how small a millimeter is, it's 1/10 of a centimeter. In a millimeter squared, it can go from 300 capillaries to 600 capillaries just with training. So that increases your VO2 max because you're able to get more oxygen to your cells because you have higher density of capillaries in your muscles. Then what's happening there after the vasculature increases is that the muscles' mitochondria are seeing more oxygen, and so that means that they need to adapt, and they do remarkably well. They're like, this is cake. Seriously, this is all you got? Try harder. Researchers have isolated small groups of muscles, and they have provided it with supraphysiologic blood flow, meaning way more blood flow than it would ever get inside of a human body. And they're doing this in the lab, and they handle it remarkably well. And they just increase the output. Boom, 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 boom. And they're consuming all of the oxygen. They're hungry, hungry hippos. They can consume way more oxygen than they will ever actually receive. So they're not the holdup whatsoever. Now what happens after all those super cool adaptations occur is that the lungs are very stubborn. And they say, no, thank you very much. Y'all have fun with your remodeling. And that's where the bottleneck comes in. However, the majority of you watching this video, you're gonna be able to increase your VO2 max with exercises and the right exercises. And red alert warning, what happens whenever you are old and frail? You're gonna have VO2 max that's going down, 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 down by 10% every 10 years after the age of 30. If you're sedentary. If you're not sedentary and you exercise, you're gonna be good, and that means that if you're a 70-year-old You could have a higher VO2 max than a 30-year-old if you are exercising compared to this 30-year-old, well, let's say 40-year-old. You're this 40-year-old who is sedentary and eating their Lay's potato chips on their couch. Now, this is a demonstration that chronological age is not the same as biological age. Did you like that? A little flippity flop? I just came up with that right now on the fly. I'm just tired too. Now, going forward, you can think about those beautiful Vikings, the Norwegians, who came up with a 4x4 protocol. Look it up. And then also hit high intensity interval training. You're gonna thank me whenever you're 75 and you're outrunning these little 40, 45-year-olds. Have a good day. Peace. Oh, also, you're really cool and you should subscribe because that's really cool too. Please, I really appreciate it. You rock. Boom.